to say that the rain has actually held off, and it looks as though this Superone or Superbike, whichever you like to call it, round 6 out of the 9 championship rounds is going to be held on dry roads. 500cc 2-stroke machines or 1300cc 4-stroke, and captain on his chest is the nickname of Mark Phillips, who is one of the fancied riders. He's on a 500cc 4-cylinder Suzuki, 4th in the championship. But another very fancied man is the multiple British champion, number 11, Roger Marshall. There he is from Rugby, TT rider. He's won the Donington, Cadwell and Knock Hill rounds of this championship. Here is the man of the day so far, Phil Mellor, who has won 2 of the rounds and finished 2nd in the 750cc production race, and has also created 2 new lap records. These bikes are the fastest of all today, 150 horsepower, and with the right gearing and the right circumstances, as they get away on their parade lap, their final warm-up lap, these bikes can do 190 miles an hour. Not here at Thruxton. They'll only, in quotes, be doing about 165 miles an hour at Thruxton. And if you want to buy one and you've got £20,000 lying around, you could, I suspect, do a deal. The lap record is held by Wayne Gardner, the man who we know has won the Czech 500cc Grand Prix today to virtually clinch the World Championship for the first time for this popular Australian. And his lap record here in the Formula 1 class, because this Superone is a new class for 1987, 1 minute 25, 99.78 miles an hour, but that speed has already been bettered in 2 of the classes today, which would be slower than this one, provided the rain holds off. So remember that figure, 1 minute 25 seconds, Roger Marshall leading the championship, Phil Mellor, the man to watch today, in 2nd place. Ray Swan, who's not riding here this afternoon, is 3rd, and then Paul Idden and Mark Phillips a long way behind in 4th place. So Marshall, who would look to be in a very strong position in the championship, is not actually as firmly ensconced in the lead as he may appear to be, because he's got to miss the next round in order to take part in another event, and that'll give Mellor the opportunity to close up, provided he does well here today. Barry Nutley, an interesting formula like all of them here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think without a doubt the pièce de résistance of today's activities, particularly in the strength of talent we've got. Just about everybody who's anybody here today is out in this race. Roger Marshall, you gave a particularly glowing dossier to, and we were here in practice when Marshall came past pulling a wheelie, and for the uninitiated, that is hooking the bike into a higher gear. He got the front up and he rode past the pit area with the front wheel about 3 feet in the air, one-handed, signalling to his pit crew. Now there's confidence for you, so we're looking for big things from Marshall.
With that distinctive white star, which is his trademark, on occasions he wears an earring to match, which doesn't actually look like Roger Marshall, but it is. 36-year-old Roger Marshall from Rugby. And there is Phil Mellor, number 10, who is, as I said, in 2nd place in the championship. He's had a marvellous afternoon, and he's having a marvellous season of racing. So as the official with the board clears the grid, it's about 15 seconds to the beginning of this 12-lap, 25-mile race, and into the lead with a surge of power goes Roger Hurst, number 19 on the 750 Yamaha. Look for Marshall's distinctive black helmet with the white star and the green leathers. He's in 4th position at the present moment, with coming up very fast indeed Mark Phillips, number 49 on the Suzuki, and that looks like John Lofthouse on the inside, number 22 it is John Lofthouse, who went very well indeed in the initial race this afternoon, finished in 3rd place. So a terrific ride already by Mark Phillips, who turned out for only his 2nd ride on a 4-stroke earlier on. And now it looks as though we've got a change for the lead already, with 1, 2, 3, about the first 10 of them coming out of the right-hander at Goodwood, down to Village, from Village they go on to Church. This is where they build up to the fastest part of the circuit, with the picturesque buildings in the background. And they're streaming round the right-hander down to the chicane. And so, with about less than a second over the first 6, Mark Phillips leads number 4. In second place, it is Roger Marshall. Now, Marshall is on an 1100cc Suzuki, and that is Morrison, Brian Morrison, Suzuki, out of the race, and Morrison, of course. And Mark Phillips leads, Roger Marshall in second place, number 11. Roger Hurst on the 750 Yamaha in third position. Mark Phillips comes from Eagle, near Lincoln, ex-farmer, Formula One British champion of 1986. But he's got his time cut out now to keep Roger Marshall behind him.
Yeah, and Hurst sitting there nicely in third, Murray. Hurst was a bit of a dark horse, and we saw him ride quite well in the super stocks, but Hurst still there in third. There's a long way to go in this race. A 12-lap race, they've only just come round after the first one. Marshall poised in second.
Now, let's have a look at what happened to Brian Morrison as we replay the incident. Brian Morrison, then number 30. A lap record here today. He's at the back here. Now watch for a bite. There he goes, sliding away across the grass. And once your bike leaves the tarmac and goes on the grass, it actually goes faster because there is absolutely no resistance at all. So now back to the race, back to lap 2 in this 12-lap event as Roger Marshall takes the lead. Marshall on the Suzukis, which have been all conquering here at Thruxton this afternoon. Eric McFarlane won the 750 race. Phil Mellor won the Superstock race. Marshall is leading now the Super One race from Mark Phillips. So it's a 4-stroke Suzuki in the lead. It's a 2-stroke Suzuki in second place. And in third position, it is yet another Suzuki, that of Phil Mellor. Well, these are some of the top national riders of the day. The Grand Prix riders are not here, of course, because they're in Czechoslovakia. And Mark Phillips is now weaving around behind the back of Roger Marshall's Suzuki, with the yellow flags waving as a warning there. They're to look out for something. What they're looking out for is to find the fastest racing line, the best place to apex the corner. And the first 3 virtually together. Anybody's race. Marshall leading. Phillips in second place, and Mellor trying to go through and take Phillips, and he does so. Not quite. Phillips on the inside. And now Mellor has got the opportunity, but he gives you a perfect example of how the 2 strokes and the 4 strokes are closely matched as Mellor takes Phillips.
And of course, Mellor's got an advantage over Marshall in that he's been around here several times today. Marshall's not been out until today, this particular race. He just had practice, 4 laps of practice. So Phil Mellor has a distinct advantage, and he's putting that to good use. Winding Marshall in now as they come into Allard, away from our commentary point.
Roger Marshall has so very much experience. Put him on the TT course and he'll do well. Put him at Cadwell, which is about the most extreme end of the scale compared to the TT that I can think of, and he will do well. Put him at Thruxton, a fast, open circuit, and he'll do well. And isn't Mark Phillips doing well? Look at him, back into second place ahead of Mellor. The first 3 absolutely together. 3 Suzukis, 1 2-stroke, 2 4-strokes. The veteran Roger Marshall in the lead, multi-British champion, the man who has ridden for Honda, who's ridden for Suzuki before this year, who rode for the Moriwaki Japanese concern, which was the outfit that Wayne Gardner made his debut with. And now Mark Phillips leads. The 500cc 4-cylinder machine of Mark Phillips goes past Roger Marshall's 1100cc 4-cylinder 4-stroke and into the lead on lap 4. And 4th, 5th and 6th, Roger Hurst, Steve Henshaw from Jacksdale, and behind Steve is Gary Knoll. Gary Knoll, who rode an absolutely superb race in the 1300cc production event earlier on this afternoon, and Roger Marshall has just gone round in 1 minute 24.78, which, according to my unofficial hand timing, is another lap record here at Thruxton this afternoon beating Wayne Gardner's lap record in the formula, in the class, of 1 minute 25 seconds. So, unofficially, new lap record for Marshall, the leader. Phil Mellor in second place. Mark Phillips in second position. Then it's still Hurst, Steve Henshaw and Gary Knoll. Gary Knoll on a Yamaha. Henshaw is on a Suzuki.
Well, they're riding brilliantly. The fourth, fifth and sixth man not in sight at all now. These three having their own battle, which they have to be enjoying. They have to be loving this. They're so close.
Yeah, and just think about it. They've each got something like 150 horsepower at their command. They are riding at 150 to 160 miles an hour on the fastest part of the course. You see in the background there, Roger Hurst in fourth position, but there's a long, long gap behind them. And the trust between these three top men has to be complete. No ragged riding, no stupid riding, safe, very fast and tremendously spectacular. Here they come to complete another lap. Now, that's the end of lap 5. This is a 12-lap race. There in the background, you just saw the flash of the white helmet of Roger Hurst in fourth position. There are the first three. Now, look back and you'll see Roger Hurst in fourth position. There he is. In fifth place behind him is still Steve Henshaw, and then behind him it is still Gary Knoll. There they go. 19, Roger Hurst. That's Steve Henshaw in the red leathers. This is fourth, fifth and sixth that you're looking at. Steve Henshaw sandwiched between the other two. The last of the three is number 2, Gary Knoll, on the 750cc Yamaha. I say again, the 750cc Yamaha, because a lot of the riders are on 1100cc or 1000cc machines. And 19 is Roger Hurst in fourth position. 27 there behind him is Steve Henshaw from Jacksdale, Roger Hurst from Aylesbury, third at Cadwell Park. And all the time there is Gary Knoll on his own, but inching up. And all the time still the lead battle continues. There's the veteran Steve Henshaw. He's ridden in Macau, ridden in the Transatlantic Trophy team for Britain 3 times. And they're coming, there's about 7 seconds between the battle for the lead there, between those 3 men, and the battle for fourth position with Steve Henshaw.
Fairly strung out now, Murray, apart from those first 3 away on their own. You can see how the field is strung out.
Roger Marshall still leading from Phil Mellor with Mark Phillips, but not a lot in it. This is lap 7. And Phil Mellor has just gone round in 1 minute 24 seconds, a full second faster than the lap record held by Wayne Gardner until this afternoon. That was a speed of 99.8 miles an hour. So we certainly have a 100 mile an hour plus lap record by Phil Mellor, who has now done a lap record in the Super Stocks, a lap record in the 750, a lap record in the Super 1, but now he no longer holds a lap record because Roger Marshall has just broken it. Number 11, Roger Marshall in the lead with Phil Mellor in his wheel tracks, has gone round at well over 100 miles an hour, 123.8. Here he comes. Marshall, Mellor, Phillips over the line, and in the process they lapped Dave Rope's Kawasaki. They've lapped Rope in 7 laps. You would think, Barry, that the sheer grunt, the sheer animal power of the 4-cylinder 1100cc 4-strokes would be able to see off the 500cc 2-stroke, but it's not the case. There is Mark Phillips in the middle, second place.
Well, personally, I wouldn't have associated Phillips in the same category as we have the leader and of course Phil Mellor. Roger Marshall, British champion, as you say, but Phillips is really going well on that 500 and he's making it buzz.
Yet another lap record, and as Mark Phillips takes the lead with Mellor in third position, Mellor has a new lap record, 123.6. It started off at 1:25, Wayne Gardner, then Mellor, 1:24, then Marshall, 1:23.8. Now Mellor again, 1 minute 23.6, and Mark Phillips has passed both of them. So surely he must have shattered the lap record too. Lap 8, 12-lap race, 2/3 distance completed through the chicane, out of it, over the line. Phillips, Marshall, and Mellor struggling along on his own. Now in 4th position, Steve Henshaw. You're looking at the leaders. 5th is Roger Hurst behind Henshaw, and in 6th position it is Gary Knoll. But this is the interest of the race, and what a race. 24-year-old Mark Phillips from Lincoln, the professional racing rider, 6 years experience, Formula One British champion of 1986, having been second in the 250 British Championship in 1985. New lap record. Guess who? Number 4, Mark Phillips, taking the lead, 1 minute 23. He has knocked 6/10 of a second off the lap record, which had been held briefly by Phil Mellor. Mark Phillips is riding an absolutely superlative race. Watch him go on the 500cc 4-cylinder water-cooled Suzuki. Marshall goes through, takes the lead. Phil Mellor in the background. This is lap 9. 3 laps to go at the end of this one.
I think, Murray, that's where the superior power of Marshall's machine showed. Up that long climb coming up towards the chicane, he came past purely on power there. The 500 Suzuki was found wanting just a little at that point.
1 minute 22.99. I say we'll wait to see what the officials say, and that's Roger Marshall. And if I'm right, it's yet another lap record. Each of the riders you're looking at as Mark Phillips takes the lead have broken the lap record in this race. As they flick the bike from left bank to right bank and back again, Marshall goes through and takes the lead from Phillips. Mellor is hanging on there. Question mark. As they come up to lap tail enders, is Phil Mellor playing a waiting game? And Marshall has absolutely shattered the new lap record of Mark Phillips. He's gone round 6/10 of a second faster. 1 minute 22.4. That is nearly 3 seconds faster than Wayne Gardner's lap record from last year. But Mark Phillips is on his way. Lap 10, 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Mark Phillips, number 4, leads Marshall, number 11, who is coming up fast with Mellor in the background. Into the chicane. Left, right. Having cleared the right-hander which leads into it. Over the line. Still Phillips leading. Still Marshall second. Still Mellor in 3rd position. Henshaw is just crossing the line in 4th place. As you look at the leaders going into the complex, the right-hander at Campbell, the left-hander at Cobb, the right-hander at Seagrave, out of it and on to Goodwood. Now the speed starts to build up as they go round the long right-hander at Village, towards the sweeping left-hander at Church, then on to Brooklands. They're approaching Church now, they being Mark Phillips in the lead, number 4 on the 500 Suzuki, multiple British champion Roger Marshall, the 36-year-old veteran, is going to go round the outside and fail to take the lead. With Phil Mellor in 3rd position. There's just 1 lap to go at the end of this one. What a super race. Marshall leads, Phillips second, Mellor third. Now Mellor is starting to make his challenge. Phil Mellor has sized them up. He's seen where they change down. He's seen where they break. He's seen where they bank. He's watched their racing line and he's going for it. Marshall, Phillips, Mellor as one. Mellor into 2nd place. Phillips back into 2nd place. Marshall leads. This is the start of the 12th and last race of this Shell Oil's well-named King of Thruxton Super One race, and what a super race it is. So, Marshall. Now, as they come up to the right-hander at Campbell, Marshall has got a bit of a lead, and I think Marshall has got it. The left-hander at Cobb. This tail-ender should not get in the way. There's bags of room to pass on motorcycles. And Mercifully, the rain has kept off. We've had this marvellous, record-shattering lap after lap by 3 superb riders event. And there's the tail ender. Marshall is past him. He's got his opportunity. And Marshall is breaking away a bit because Phillips got to ride round the outside, and Mellor still has not taken him, but Phillips is closing on Marshall. Mellor is through on the inside. This is the right-hander at Village. Now to Church. There. Still Henshaw in 4th position. Roger Hurst is 5th. Trevor Nation has moved up into 5th position. But this is Mark Phillips' last opportunity to take number 11, Roger Marshall, and win this Super 1 race, because they're coming to the chicane and Marshall will have a better acceleration out of it than Phillips. And it's going to be Marshall's race. Marshall wins, and the gap between Marshall, the winner, and Steve Henshaw in 3rd position, as Marshall looks over his shoulder, was 0.5 of a second. Half a second separated the first 3 in this quite magnificent race. Victory for multiple British champion Roger Marshall, who has thus added 15 points to the 65 he already had to extend his championship lead, with the knowledge that he's going to miss the next round. In 2nd position, Mark Phillips. In 3rd position, Phil Mellor, all of them on Suzukis, with Steve Henshaw in 4th position, with Trevor Nation in 5th position on the Yamaha, and in 6th place, Roger Hurst. But Roger Marshall has been the man of the race.